If you had a poll of the most popular houseplant in Australia, I suspect this might be it. It's Monstera deliciosa, also known as the Swiss cheese plant, and it is a bomb-proof indoor climber. In some parts of the country, it's actually now an environmental weed, but if you keep it indoors and in a pot, it is really easy to control. Now, I potted this about 6 years ago, and truthfully, it should have had an upgrade a few years ago, but better late than never. I'm going to get stuck into it today. And I made this natural totem for it. I covered this in coconut fibre, thinking that some of these aerial roots might find their way to cling to it like they would a tree in nature. It's an epiphyte. But I didn't keep it moist, so it hasn't worked, but it has been a really good support for the scrambling plant. So I'm going to repeat a similar process. So whenever I'm potting something like this, I'm only stepping up a small size. Now the mix is very free draining. It's got a lot of sand in there, and I've mixed in about 20% perlite, which will give it even more air around those roots. So I'm just going to put a small amount of mix in the bottom of the pot. And then I'm going to try and put my totem in place. So this is just natural timber. It will rot over time, but what I try and do to slow that down is I put a little collar of PVC around it, and then I backfill that with gravel. This could go very badly. I'm just going to undo this and we'll see what that root system looks like. I'm just going to take this old totem out. As you can see, it's rotted away, but it's done a good 6 years service, so I think that's pretty good. All right. You can see that so much of that mix has broken down. I thought it might have been mealybug, but it's actually just a bit of fungi growing on the old media. But over here, we've got a great root system. So there are quite a few healthy roots, and in particular, you can see the tips. They're bright white, they are actively growing, and that's a really good sign. They are raring to go. I'm just going to carefully take the plant and chuck it over my shoulder like a set of bagpipes. I want a natural kind of climbing action. I'm going to try and put it up close to that totem. If you damage any, do cut them, because a nice clean cut will reshoot much more easily than something that's quite damaged. And then I'm going to backfill as much as I can. Now, this is quite an unruly character. I'm not quite sure how to train it to this pole, and I might, in the fullness of time, prune it. But I'm just going to try and secure it to the totem, come around the plant a number of times actually, so it's nice and secure. Just going to tie it again about halfway up. The other little plant, I'm just going to fill this space here. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to finish now potting mix, really firming it in around both those plant roots. And then a little bit of gravel. I'm just going to make sure that's nice and firm. All I need to do now is give it a water, and then I can pop it back in its spot in the house, and hopefully my little monster will grow healthy and happy.